What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. Dudes Who Bet Daily, December 2nd, 2022. The show is officially angry at Germany. I even got Aaron to watch soccer, but they just could not get a fifth goal when they probably should have scored 10. That's okay, because the Haltermans went 2-0 yesterday, so it's still a 2-1 day for the show. You got to love that, right, Aaron?
Yeah, the soccer was fun. I did watch the last 8 minutes of it because I saw they were behind, and I was like, oh my gosh. Then I saw it was 4-2. I was like, all right, I'll turn it on, see if they get a goal. They couldn't. I'm very tired again because I was up till past midnight watching the UCLA Bruins win for Papa Dude, and then the Kings come back in stylish fashion. They were down 3-1 last night, came back to win 5-3. So it was a fun night.
Yeah, I'm pissed I didn't take the Bills, Papa Dude, because, man, they looked good last night.
Well, I didn't get to see it. I was watching some of the exciting girls basketball. So I didn't get to see it, but I did read about it, and it looked like they dominated the game. And they're kind of rounded in form. They did this again. If you'll remember last year, they kind of got rolling down the stretch. And they need Kansas City to lose. That's what they need, and then to keep winning.
Yeah, I think their defense is starting to get healthy again in the secondary especially. So expect them to continue to take some steps forward. Got another monster Friday here. We've got a USC game. We're not going to talk about that one until the best bets because two of the three of us headed to that game. Aaron's sticking on the ice where he's been dominating lately. So happy we're going to stay there. Let's start out with college football because it's not just one game today, guys. We get to start out with a 1 p.m. banger here. Akron at 2-9, headed into Buffalo. Buffalo laying 11.5, total sitting 55.5. We get some action early on a Friday here, Papa Dude. Who are you taking here?
I tell you what, are you really going to watch this? How many?
I am.
Obviously.
I think the Vegas should have an over-under on how many fans are at the game today. Akron is awful, but they did win last week. And believe it or not, we discussed this on our show yesterday. Aaron and I did. If Buffalo wins, they're bowl eligible. And by the way, we're sending an open invitation to them Oklahoma fans are. That's who we want to play in the bowl game. We want Buffalo. So I think all the motivation is on Buffalo's side. They're a better team. I would take Buffalo minus 11.5 today.
I'm pissed you don't have a "We Want Buffalo" sign there, Papa Dude. Aaron, I think this is an interesting in-game option too. -7 first half right now for Buffalo. If Akron gets the kick, that'll go to 6.5 pretty fast. I think Buffalo gets out front early here. I'd love Akron to get the ball and see if I can lay less than a touchdown in the first half.
I'm a big Buffalo fan today. I think Buffalo gets it done. I think it's a decent betting opportunity, to be completely honest. Why is Akron going to care about this game at all? It's a Friday at going to be noon, I guess 1 o'clock your time, Somich. I mean, my goodness, this points to Buffalo. They need it. They need to win. They need to go to a bowl game. And like I said, we've talked about that a lot with the MAC. That's still important that the smaller schools get to a bowl. So I'm big on Buffalo today, Somich. Big.
This is why we talk about these games, Papa Dude. You got to bring them up when Aaron's a monster fan of a random-ass college football game between 2-9 and 5-16 that starts at 1 o'clock on a Friday. Why not talk about that, right?
I'm pumped. Listen, I almost did a 3-team parlay that involved this game. It would be a total degenerate parlay just so you could watch the games all day.
I will be watching and playing this one. I guarantee you. I have some action on this game at some point in the game. If at any point I can get Buffalo with an edge, I will be taking that. Let's move on to the Conference USA Championship. We got 7-5 North Texas. No idea how they're even in this game against 10-2 UTSA. The running, what is it? Roadrunners of San Antonio, Papa Dude, is that right?
Oh yeah, they're the Roadrunners.
There we go. We got I think it's North Texas Eagles. This is going to be played in San Antonio in the Alamo Dome. UTSA laying 8.5. Monster total is 70 here. Aaron, are you betting this one too?
North Texas Mean Green, Somich. They are the Mean Green.
I do.
Their logo. I'm sticking with Eagle.
Have an eagle mascot.
They do. They do.
I remember the bird. I just forgot the Mean Green part of it.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm all over the Roadrunners in this game. They're gonna dominate the Mean Green. Listen, these smaller conference games, the home team they don't play on neutral field. The team with the best record in the conference gets to host the game. So UTSA is at home for this game tonight. they're a much better team than the Mean Green. Now, the thing about North Texas, you do have to kind of worry about they can score. The over-under is 70 in this game. That tells you these teams can score, but I think UTSA is a much better team. I'll take UTSA to cover here, -8.5.
Roadrunners is a good name for this offense, Papa Dude. Runs, I think it's the second or third most plays in the NCAA football this year so far. Any interest here in this Conference USA title game?
What is the line again? I can't remember.
8.5.
UTSA 7.5 right now.
7.5. Well, I would take UTSA all day in that one because of the home field. Now, North Texas is very well coached. Aaron and I know who the coach is, not personally, but we know who he is. He's done a great job there. And they will be ready to play. You know, Texas San Antonio last year was unbelievable. And everybody thought, well, can they string another good season together? They got off to kind of a slow start, but they played a really tough non-conference schedule. I think they played Texas, and there was somebody else in there that was pretty good. And then they got to rolling, and they're a really good outfit. And that's 2 years in a row. I don't think their head coach left last year. I think he stayed another year. You guys might look that up for me, but I think he did. I would think he might be in line to get out of there and go somewhere else. So I like the Roadrunners a lot. I would take that. It's dropped to 7.5. Oh yeah, I'm all over that.
2-2 out of conference, 8-0 in conference. So they have yet to lose a Conference USA game this year. That game kicking off on CBS Sports Network at 7:30. We'll talk about, or I'm sorry, 7 o'clock. We'll talk, or no, I was right, 7:30. Should have just stuck with it. We'll talk about the USC game a little bit later toward the end of, the Utah USC game later toward the end of the show here. Let's jump over to the ice. One marquee game tonight. Aaron, the Predators heading in to take on the Islanders. Predators 11-9, Islanders 15-9 so far. Islanders -165. The thing that jumped out at me, one of the first 5.5 totals of the year that I saw. So you're starting to see some of these totals drop down, but a lot of 6.5s. Who do you like here? Preds, Islanders, or you're touching that total?
Oh man, this is gonna be a good game. I'm looking forward to this one. I will definitely be watching. I think the Islanders are the better team. They're kind of rebounding after a very poor year that kind of came out of nowhere last year, guys. If you remember, they were awful. They got off to a terrible start. It's like, what happened to this team? They were decent. Well, fast forward to this year, they're playing pretty decent. I'm not a big Predators fan this year. I will take the Islanders here. I'll take the Islanders -1.5 too, as you're getting plus money on that one. I think they can get the job done tonight. The total 5.5 is an interesting one to me. I would go over that. I think these two teams can put it in the net. So I would go over that total of 5.5 as well.
Papa Dude, we'll head over to the NBA here because we've got just a monster NBA slate today. We'll kick it off with a rematch of the Eastern Conference Finals. The Heat headed into Boston. Boston 18-4, 11-1 at home. The Heat 2-8 on the road. Boston's just laying 7 here. Total 227. I put a small wager in on Boston. I think this is probably going to go up before game time. Any interest in this game?
Well, the Heat are definitely not hot. That's for sure. They're struggling this year, not playing very well. They've had injury problems all over the place, and Boston's playing better than anyone. The thing is, if the Heat have a couple of guys back, these are the kind of games they play pretty well. They might catch Boston looking past them a little. I don't know. Probably not, because the Heat are one of those teams you don't like very well, and they probably got some respect for them. You said the line's 7?
7 right now, yeah.
I think they cover. I think Boston covers tonight. I did.
Yeah, Boston's just been filling up the nets, and Miami not as efficient on the offensive side of the ball. You got to think at some point you see that big quarter from Boston to be able to put a little bit of distance between them. Aaron, we got another big game here. Let's talk a little bit. Well, it's not really a big game, but it's one I'm interested in. Well, let's talk about the big game first. The Philadelphia 76ers headed into the Memphis Grizzlies. Memphis laying 5, total at 217 right now. Philly has Embiid back. They played better since he returned, but Memphis starting to get healthy as well and starting to get better. Who do you like here in this Memphis 76ers game, Aaron?
Memphis at home. They're tough. They're 7-2 at home. They're good. Memphis big tonight over the 76ers. They are laying for them. I've got on good authority Memphis is ready for this game. Memphis tonight.
Who's your good authority?
Yeah.
If I told you guys, I would have to kill you guys. So
Heather loves Memphis tonight, huh?
But listen, I told you guys yesterday, I'm a big basketball guy, as everybody knows. I told you guys yesterday, Detroit at home. And what did they do? They won. So Memphis, big tonight. You can bet with confidence.
Yeah, the game went over as well. So 2-0 night for the non-bet bets that we've talked about there in that one NBA game. Papa, dude, the other NBA game I have bet, 10 o'clock tonight on ESPN. You've got the Bulls, who suck, going into the Warriors, who are not very good there, except when they're playing at home. 9-1 at home right now, laying 7 to Chicago. I bet the Warriors in this spot already. Any interest here in this game?
I agree with you totally. That's a good bet. I don't think the Bulls are going to go in there and have much of a chance. So the Warriors are starting to play a little bit better. Isaac, that's your team. They're starting to play a little bit better. I like the Warriors by 10 to 15 tonight.
Yeah, I think this is a double-digit result here for the Warriors. Hopefully they're able to get it done. We got 2 marquee college basketball games. So I'll let you start with this one, Aaron. We've got Baylor heading into Gonzaga. This one's on Peacock Network at 8 o'clock. Who knew? Gonzaga laying 2.5, a battle of 2 5-2 teams, but all 4 of those losses against good squads on both sides. Are you going to watch this Baylor Gonzaga game? And if you are, who you betting here? Gonzaga laying 2.5 at home.
We have seen a trend, right? These home basketball teams have been tough to beat in these early games with marquee matchups. I think it continues. Gonzaga has been disappointing so far. You could say the same for Baylor, I guess, as well. But like you said, they've been playing quality opponents. Gonzaga needs it. They're at home. That's a tough place to go win a game. Give me the Zags tonight. I think they cover that 2.5.
I like the Zags as well. What about you, Papa Dude?
Oh, totally agree. I think that Gonzaga has really upped their non-conference schedule. They have played a ton of really good teams, and I think they've decided they better do that to get themselves ready when they get to the NCAA tournament, because when they get into their conference, they just dominate it. And so I think they've built up this non-conference. I don't remember them. Now, I haven't followed this just real closely until the last couple of years. I don't remember them playing this many quality teams. Do you guys? I mean, it seems to me like they've really upped their schedule.
I think last year they played some decent bunch, but I don't think they played as many as what they played this year. Yeah.
I
think it's generally been 1 or 2, but none of those tournaments. And that's where they've been facing some of these big time teams, is on those preseason tournaments that get you good, mental fortitude to kind of take on that NCAA tournament. We saw that from like Michigan State was one of the early ones. Duke played a lot of these early tournaments when they had tournament success as well. Yeah. Just to try and get the experience.
And I think that's what they're doing. And I'm not impressed with Baylor yet. They're struggling. They may not be as good as they've been. So I like Gonzaga. I think they'll at 2.5. I think maybe I should have parlayed that with my bet today. I think that's a gimme.
Don't get crazy, Papa Dude. Don't get crazy here.
No, I know.
All right, so we're all on Gonzaga there. Papa Dude, the other marquee game, early conference game here. Illinois headed into Maryland, 6-1 Illinois, 7-0 Maryland, both in the top 25 here. Maryland laying 1.5 at home. Do you think this home trend continues here, where we see the home teams be able to get it done?
Well, I analyzed both of them. Illinois lost a game, and heck, I can't remember who it was against. You probably got it right there in front of you. I don't have it, but it was somebody decent, but they weren't great. Who the heck was
Virginia?
It? Yeah, Virginia's hard to beat. And Maryland's undefeated. Neither one of them have played a whole lot of quality, other than Maryland's got one good win on there. I like Maryland a lot. It's they're a basketball school. The game's at home early in the season. I think they'll get them tonight, and I think the line's bettable for sure. So I would go with Maryland simply because of the home court.
Yeah, I would lean toward Maryland as well on the home court side. Aaron, any interest here?
Maryland, big.
Yeah. You mentioned it. We saw this in the Big Ten ACC Challenge as well. The home teams, this is the first true home game or true road game for a lot of these teams. It's tough to go on the road in college basketball, especially in big time environments. And that's what you're going to get every time you get one of these big time games. All right, let's jump over to the horse racing side here, Aaron. Pool of the day, definitely the late pick 5 coming at you from Gulfstream Park. $75,000 sitting there after a wild day from Gulfstream yesterday. This one's probably going to get close to $1 million in the late pick 5 pool. We're going to see our first turf race from this new Gulfstream Park turf. That's going to be the 8th race, the 4th in the sequence. I thought it was a pretty tough one as well. We're going 7.5 furlongs over this turf course. You got some speed to the outside here. The 12 horse, Porque No, who's definitely going to try and go. Your favorite in this spot is, let's see here. Who is it going to be? It's going to be the 5 horse, Bramble Bay. Sonny Leone up for Mike Maker, coming out of Backwood, coming essentially up from up north. Where'd you go on top here? Because I thought this was a tough race.
I'm thinking upset in this spot, Somich. I am not going to go with the favorite on top. I'm going to go to the rail, number 1, Fastest Flight. That's who the horse I'm going to put on top in this spot. Look, always runs pretty well here at Gulfstream Park. 3 races, 3 on the board finishes. One of those was in a turf race going a mile, which is basically the same kind of thing, 7.5 mile, same thing, and ran pretty well. Ran really well last time out at Churchill Downs. Picked up a win over that, whatever you want to call course that they have, I guess turf, but picked up a win, looked good. Now, you look at the dynamics of this race today, I think it's interesting. You said it. I think the 12 is going to go. I think the 5 and the 8 are going to be forwardly placed. I really feel like the 1 can get a nice rail skimming pocket trip, track those horses, hopefully get out in the stretch and make a run at it. And the other big thing is I just didn't trust a lot of the little of the shorter priced horses in this spot. So I'm going to take a shot with the number 1 Fast as Flight, 8-1 morning line.
Good pick. I have the 1 on top as well.
Oh
it's
my!
kind of wild.
Okay.
We both ended up, same horse. Yeah.
Okay, so maybe not going to get 8-1 is my first thought.
Maybe we'll get 8-1. I actually think this is probably going to hold up. I'm guessing I'm going to go with 6-1 as the off odds here. I think the 5's taking a ton of money. I think the 12's taking a ton of money. That 12 is tough, man. Because if the 12 drew the 4, I would probably have the 12 on top. But the 12 post going 7.5 at Gulfstream is wildly difficult. I think you hit the nail on the head here. The 1 horse is going to get the trip. This is one of those where you're going to sit third in the pocket, right behind a couple of outside speed horses, and going to be able to save all the ground on both turns and then make one big run. Both last 2 races over a good turf, which is what we see today. Both of those are solid efforts, including that win you mentioned at Churchill. I think the 1 makes a ton of sense here at a little bit of a price. Give me one more here, because I think I'm using 3 other horses at over 8-1 in this spot. Do you have any long shots that you like in here?
I do. I'll give you one more. Let me comment on the 12 real quick. That one, Porque No, the 12 horse, I agree with you 100%. I think the post draw is going to be really tough. The key to that horse, and you said it, gun it out of the gate. Get over as fast as you can. I'm not sure she's got that kind of speed, right? Like just a crazy amount of speed. I think it'll be more of a gradual progression that gets over to the front before she eventually gets the lead. And I think that could be a problem. I'll give you one at 30-1, Somich. What about the number 10 here? Empress Ellie. I kind of like this horse a little bit. Getting back to the turf, has a win over this turf course at this distance, broke the maiden in April this year. They tried the synthetic surface there for a while. She ran okay. She had some races that were decent enough. I think we get back to the turf. I think she gets a sneaky trip here. Another one, I don't like the post, but I kind of think she can sit a little bit more mid-pack. I don't think she needs to gun it early. You look at the races on the turf at Gulfstream, she kind of comes from out of it. So kind of tuck back a little bit. Empress Ellie at 30-1. I've got some interest in this horse. I think she's going to run well. I
think this is one of a handful of horses you're not going to get the actual price listed on the morning line. Cindy's mentioning the 11 here. I don't think Flippett's going off at 15-1 in this spot either. Jonathan Thomas, who just won the first race from the 11 post of the synthetic, looks like we're going to have a 15-1 shot here, but I agree. I think you're going to get closer to kind of that 8 to 10-1 range. I looked at the 10 as well, didn't end up using this one. What about the 4 horse, Miss Bonnie T? One that's been running against better, broker maiden at Saratoga. Pratt found it a reasonable to ride there, comes back and wins an N1X first time out. That was at the Meadowlands turf course. This is, to me, kind of a similar spot to that last race. I like the fact we have back-to-back wins and back-to-back improvement. The light bulb angle is one a lot of people like to talk about, where you don't win your maiden for a while, then you win and you come right back and win. All of a sudden, the horse kind of figured it out. Seems like this 4 Miss Bonnie T is in that same kind of headspace.
Well, the race at Meadowlands was a good race, right? I mean, maiden claiming 75 at Saratoga is not bad, but to move up to allowance to the Meadowlands, that is not an easy meet to win a race. There's usually big fields in those types of races, and they're tough. So that was a really good win for her. It bodes well for her for sure. And you're right, man, just all kinds of trouble getting that maiden broke. But finally, when they do, sometimes they will kind of wake up. Lafitte Pinkai would always talk about that on the old HRTV. He loved that angle. So I can't argue with it. I think it's definitely a horse that's got a big shot. And boy, this is why you get excited for Gulfstream to come back for races like this. And now that the turf, they're going to run on it today, right? I mean, this is a Gulfstream race where you can go 5 deep and still not feel real comfortable.
That's why I love this track, man. I'm a little frustrated the 5th came off because I was singling the 5 in the 5th race in my pick 5. And that the race comes off. We had lone speed. I thought that was pretty much that was going to be. Was considering that as my bet of the day before this race changed surfaces and the 5 scratched out.
So let me ask you now, where did you pivot it? Because I had that horse singled as well.
I singled the 6th.
The 6th, he scratched. The 6th is scratched.
No, the 6th race.
Oh, the 6th race. Gotcha.
Yeah, I ended up 4 deep in that race. I actually like the 3 a little bit at 20-1 now that they're over on the synthetic track. Okay. But I think that the 8 Lucky Product makes a lot of sense in that spot. But I am going to try and get around him and go 4 deep there.
I'm wondering. Okay. All right. Interesting. We'll buy the Somobomb if you want to know who he singled. I'm not asking you.
I was considering. I'm probably going to press one and play. I'm going to single Lucky Perdot and then single that 6th race and then kind of spread out a little bit more. See if we can get a $5 one home here. That is going to be the best pool today. Make sure you're playing that late pick 5 there from Gulfstream. Got free picks on the site. You got the premium picks. You got the bombs. You got the rockets. Everybody's covering it. So make sure you're checking that out over at racingdudes.com. All right. It's time. Let's talk best bets here. Aaron, you're going to start out on the ice. Papa Dude and I are taking the same game. So let's kick it off here first with your bet. You got the Jets. You're laying the goal and a half.
Yeah, I'll get mine out of the way so you guys talk about the football game. Listen, I can't get away from hockey right now. It's far and away the thing I've had the most success with on this show. So I'll just keep jamming it down people's throat until we miss a couple. Tonight we only have 3 games. We talked about one. That's a tough game. I settled on this one. Winnipeg is hosting the Blue Jackets tonight from Columbus, and this Columbus team's just not good, period. And I wonder if Johnny Gaudreau was wishing he would have picked another place to go play because the Blue Jackets have not been good so far. They, like I said, the Jets, they're a surprise team. 14-6-1 coming into this. This is a team that missed the playoffs last year. Man, they look good right now. They've won 3 in a row. Their last game, they beat Colorado 5-0. They shut out the defending Stanley Cup champions. Even when Winnipeg's not great, it's tough to beat them at home. They're at home tonight. I'll put it this way. If they win, I think they will cover this goal and a half here. So I'm going to go Winnipeg. I think they're going to play pretty well. And thankfully, the game's at 7:00 tonight for me, so I will not have to stay up till midnight to watch this one.
I like it. Thank you very much for that. We appreciate it. Although I guess they both everything starts at 7:00 tonight. So that makes it easy for us Dudes Who Bet Daily followers to get some sleep tonight. It's date night for me. So it's gonna be interesting to see if I can actually watch any of these games, see if we can go to a bar with the USC game on. Real quick, on the pitch side of this, I know you guys don't give a damn, but we got Serbia and Switzerland who are playing today. Total set at 2.5. Give me the under. Switzerland needs a draw in this game. Serbia, not an aggressive offensive team. Switzerland held Brazil to 1 goal. They won their first game 1-0. Switzerland, Serbia, under 2.5. That was the bet I considered on the pitch today. What's up, Papa Dude?
That makes perfect sense. Switzerland is neutral. They are a neutral country.
We should almost have Papa Dude doing World Cup write-offs.
I really don't know if the war strategies of these countries make a difference for the soccer teams, though.
We can't trust the Germans, and that was the problem yesterday. And
they should have scored 10. I mean, it was
on purpose. They did it on purpose, and that's just the way it is.
Yeah.
So
they knew the Dudes Who Bet Daily were on them, so they had to screw us over.
Sure, they had it on in the locker room. 0-0, I'm predicting in the Switzerland-Serbia game, neutral.
I kind of like the first half 0-0. I'm not sure what the line is. The first half, let's see if I can see it first. So let's see if we can find anything here.
Now let's see. Serbia is part. Go ahead.
Tie plus 390.
Oh.
So tie the first half, full-time tie. I don't hate plus 390 on that tie either. I don't think anyone scores in the first half.
Serbia is part of the old Yugoslavia, isn't it?
That's correct.
Yeah. Switzerland may win this game.
Ooh, Papa Dude.
I don't think the Yugoslavians are that good at soccer, are they?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
But, I don't think the Swiss are that good at soccer either. So there's a problem with that strategy.
If it was yodeling, the Swiss would
Be very good.
Brazil's playing in the other game. They're leading the table with 6 points. They don't need to play. All they have to do is show up, and they're going to go through. Switzerland playing Serbia. If Switzerland ties or wins, they're through. If Serbia wins, they're through. So I would expect that the Swiss just kind of hunker down, play some good defense, and try and see if the Serbia team can get on the board in the first half. I don't think they will. That should lean toward the under. All right, Papa Dude. Let's talk about your favorite team, the USC Trojans. You love these guys. You're betting them tonight. Tell us more about it.
Well, now, technically, I got this game on Sunday at 1, but for this show, we'll go 3 because it really doesn't matter. I do think they're going to win by even more than 3. So if it had gone up to 6 or 7, I would have screamed and said, wait a minute, I got it at 1, but I'll go here at 3. So, okay, two things here. Number one, I think they're going to win, first of all, because even though I hate them and even though I want them to lose, I want to get the bet more than I want them to lose. Okay, but the silver lining in this whole thing for me is I'm jinxing their ass. I'm jinxing them by picking them. So as Aaron told me when he saw the bet, you can't lose either way tonight. This doesn't happen very often. I said on Sunday to Aaron, I'm picking this game. If that line stays anywhere close, that's my Friday bet. I think the Trojans are going to win tonight, and I hope I jinx them. And I hope you're going with the Trojans also in another way.
Well, it's extremely tough to beat a team twice in a row or twice in a single season.
Yep.
And Utah was able to hand the Trojans their only loss here, 43-42. I would expect a very motivated USC team. Not only are they playing for the title, they're playing to make the playoff. They're also playing to revenge that loss. Aaron, did you like USC here as well? Or are you looking for a little Utah 2-0 revenge here on USC?
I think they're going to blow them out. Talking about USC, I think they're going to blow them out. I watched every bit of that first game. USC was the better team in that game. They got terrible calls. They made stupid mistakes, and it was on the road at night at Utah. It's really hard to win that game. Now you get a neutral field. To me, honestly, I think USC should win by double digits. And the biggest thing for me is I think it's a situation where, I mean, yes, Utah can win this game and win the Pac-12, and that's great, but this is a disappointing season for Utah. So I guess they're going to have the motivation. This could kind of save the season to win the Pac-12 here, but I think everything's on the line for USC, and I'm with Somich. I think they are the more motivated team coming into this game by far. I
don't think you can underplay the fact that first game was outdoor at night in Utah, and this game is indoors in Las Vegas. Indoor, it's going to be a fast track tonight that favors USC. If you read the text from sportsbook managers, pretty much 2 of every 3 people in the sportsbook right now has a USC jersey on, USC shirt on. They are going to show out for this game from a fan perspective. I think it's going to be a lot more a USC home game than a true neutral field. I'm confident in one thing in this game, though. USC's offense. Team total is 34.5. I thought this should be in the 40s when I originally was thinking about this game. The total for the game is 67. I think that's low. And because of that low total, you're getting under 35 points for this USC offense. 17.5 is the first half line. I like the over on USC in the first half as well. I don't see how this offense doesn't put up 35 tonight against Utah. And this is one of those spots where teams don't step off the throttle. They're not going to be up 10 and be like, oh, no, let's slow it down. No, they're going to go in the early second half. They won't stop unless they're up 25, 28 points, something like that. And if they're up 28 points, guess what covers? Over 34.5. So I could see this being a close game, but I don't see it being a close game in the 20s. I see this being a close game in the 40s if it's going to be close. I think USC puts up points all night. I'm going to take the team total over 34.5 here. What do you think, Papa Dude?
Love it. You're not okay. You're not going to see another 43-42 type game tonight. If USC gets to 42, they're going to win 42-30, 42-28, in my opinion. I don't think Utah can get in a shootout with them. I just don't see any way. And they scored 42 against them the first time on the road at Utah and didn't play very well. Yeah, I mean, this is logical that they're going to do this unless they turn it over. And guess what? They've turned the ball over 4 times all year. That may be the most amazing statistic I've seen. Only 4 turnovers in 12 games.
Those were the days. Those were the days.
Well, you have a Heisman candidate at quarterback down there in Oklahoma. Aaron, I thought this was really interesting. The first half team totals: USC 17.5, Utah 16.5. I was shocked they were that close. What do you think, Aaron?
I don't know. Maybe I'm just overrating this USC team, but I think UC's over and the Utah's under. I think it's going to be like 24-10 at the half.
Well,
I don't know. I mean, I just look at that field when they played the first time. I was like, oh, USC's got the better athletes. You know, I don't know.
The first half line, USC minus 1.5. That might be a one that you might want to jump in on as well if you like those team totals in that manner, Aaron.
To me, USC is going to have to choke to lose this game. I just really believe that, you know, and the way Caleb Williams is playing, there's no indication that that's going to happen.
I think he's going to have to get hurt for them to lose the game.
Yeah. Something like that. Yep.
Well, the other major college football news before we sign off here, Karam, the Michigan running back, out for the year here, Papa Dude. Going to have knee surgery. That's going to affect their chances in the college football playoff, which they're probably through, like you said yesterday, no matter what happens to Purdue. Do you think that matters at all, or do you think this is Georgia's championship?
I do think it matters, although they didn't need him against Ohio State. So I do think, though, long range, that probably does matter. It does not matter tomorrow.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Yeah, I don't think it'll matter against Purdue either. All right, let's jump through the best bets here and then sign off for the day. Papadou taking USC -3. Aaron headed to the ice, taking the Winnipeg Jets, laying the goal and a half, plus 105. I'm going to take USC's team total over 34.5 tonight. For the week, we're 4-2, up $224. For the year, up $252. Starting to right the ship again. Man, I liked it when that was in the thousands. All right, guys, we will be back tomorrow at noon Eastern, normal time here, since we've got some later college games to discuss. And then we'll be back on Sunday at noon as well for best bets across the sports and horse racing world. Thank you very much for joining us. Best of luck with all of your bets today.